Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Sunday. So the importance of the Alabama rig, this technique's been around since the fall of 2011 and is one of the best techniques ever invented to catch suspended bass. Why this is very important, I'm going to go into on today's video, because a lot of times, especially in the colder months, when fish move shallow and then they're pushed back out, they don't come out the way they came in, and I'm going to go into all that. And I've even got a diagram, and I'm going to show you guys how that goes. So let's start off with what the fish are doing when they are in winter mode. So this would be winter, and you have bass that are out in the channel, the creek channel's main river channel. Now, when they move shallow in these colder months, they're going to come in this way. So they're going to stay near the bottom, tucked down to where it's going to be warmer, and they're going to move shallow. Warm nights, sunny days, warming trends, bass in the springtime move shallow. So when a bass comes out of deep water, he gets shallow. He's typically going to be really white colored. A lot of times they'll have red eyes, which means they're in super cold water, which is what is out here. When they get shallow and there's a cold front, maybe you have a night that's not real warm, gets down into the 40s, then you have cloudy days, bass are going to move right back out this way. They're not going to stay tucked down in the bottom. So they're going to suspend, they're going to get out of the shallow water, and they're going to be out here. So here's the surface. Bass are right here now. That's where the Alabama rig comes in. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this bait, but if you have balls of shad on your lake in the colder months, this bait is key. So I'm going to show you how I rig it up. I'm a big fan of Kitech Swing Impact Fats. You can go all different sizes depending on the size shad. They make a lot of different sizes. So I like the fat one, but whatever size shad. These I think are the 3.3s maybe, but a couple different companies make these ribbed swim baits with this really thin tail. It is great for the Alabama rig. This is the Umbrella Rig Flash Mob Junior. So the blades, again, I'm throwing this most of the time on cloudy days, low visibility days. So I like the blades on days like that. Shad, natural colors for me because I fish it in clear lakes. But if you maybe have a little bit of a stain in your water, you could go with straight white. I've caught them on that as well. But I like the junior size because it's just a little bit easier to manage, a little bit easier to throw. You know, if you're throwing this for a long period of time, you're going to be glad you threw the junior size. So this is the bait. And basically, the technique is like spinnerbait fishing in the sense that you need the conditions. So if it gets sunny, fish are going to tuck down to the bottom. They're going to go into the grass. They're going to go into the cover, whatever you have on your lake. It's going to be hard to get this bait, to get those fish to bite. Maybe you can let it sink down to the bottom and reel it, but for most of the time, you may be on a really strong Alabama rig bite, catching the biggest fish on your lake. The sun pops out, or you go a day and it gets sunny, you go from getting 6 or 7, 10, 12 bites to 1 or 2 bites. So you got to be very careful. I've seen this bait go from being the best bait in the world to not catching anything. And that's what I don't like about it. Typically, I like baits that are going to work in almost all conditions, like a crankbait, a square bill, something like that, that I'm shallow fishing with. But if the fish just aren't shallow, you don't have any other option but to be throwing a bait out here. Off the end of the shallow part, back out towards the deep water, but suspended. You need a jerk bait, and you need an Alabama rig. And if you're thinking, is that a cooking sheet? You're right. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the water.